16th, 2023.
May 16th. That's approval of
Oh,
that.
let's start over again. June 20th, 2023, 7:30 a.m. We're almost awake, and we are going to start this session. We're going to call to order. Juan is is indisposed, but he'll be here shortly. We need approval of agenda, which I don't see any agenda items other than what we did last time. Right.
There was one agenda item sent out with the packet. That was the Ziegler trucking site plan. So we had a chance to review that. Other than that, everything else was provided in the meeting. There was meeting minutes and everything else, but that is it. Other than that, the approval of the agenda we're looking for is just to approve this agenda meeting.
This agenda.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. And what was that, Scott?
To approve the agenda.
Okay, we're going to approve that agenda
This one?
in about 2 seconds.
You just said, you just asked for a motion.
Okay. Approve the agenda. Hey, guys.
How's it going?
So we are at approve the agenda. We called to order.
Okay,
We have a
perfect.
motion to approve agenda. We do have a second.
Second.
Okay, motion approves. Approval of the minutes.
Hold on, we got to vote. Go back, we got to vote.
Didn't we
You gotta vote.
Oh, I thought we said okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Approval of the minutes in the May 16th EDA meeting. Anybody read that in their packet? They got sent to them in their email. I know, Sean, your email was kind of wiki-wonky.
Yeah, it's not. It worked for a day. Then it locked me out, and
I got the same issue, but I got a new phone, and so you have to reset your password, but it won't let you reset your password.
Right.
It says the administrator has to do it.
yeah.
So I sent a message to Amy
Yeah.
saying, "How do I get in?" And
She is the administrator, so just so that you know it's not me.
yeah, no, I sent it to Amy, and she's probably busy. I guess I just haven't heard back for a little while.
Okay.
So I haven't been getting any emails.
It's my
Probably
same
that
issue.
authenticator thing.
Kicks me out, and then I got to reset everything, and I can't reset it.
Yeah, so it's we were forced to go to dual authentication from our IT provider. We have been pushing it off for many, many years, and they finally said you have to do it. So that is what it is called. And so we got Scott's working again, I think, magically. I don't know how, but
It just
got it working
happened.
again. So I can
It
take a
just
look at your
happened.
guys' after the meeting and try to help you out and get it figured out. But
Yeah.
Juan, you're
I
good?
figured mine
works.
was
Yeah.
my new phone, but
Okay, sounds good. We can do that.
It's the authenticator thing.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Okay.
Minutes.
Yes, approve of the minutes. Again, I understand you guys didn't get that. So,
yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
motion to approve the minutes. We got a motion out.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the rescheduled July 18th EDA meeting.
Yes, EDA chair and members of the EDA. I will be gone that week on vacation. So you can most certainly have the meeting. However, I will not be here to be in attendance. So I would recommend moving the meeting if we can. I'm happy to do it before or after. The one issue that I want to make sure that we continue to go on is I want to make sure we have a meeting in July. Because that's when the feedback will come back from the Historic Village Framework Plan thing on open house on the 29th. And so I want to make sure that we have a meeting so that I can get that to the council, either the second meeting in July or the first meeting in August. Sooner the better, or whatever. But
And when are you gone?
Second week of
I am
July.
gone. I am gone this middle week, the 17th to the 21st. I am
I'm
out of
actually
town.
gone. I'm on vacation too. That same
Well,
week.
then you're welcome.
I know that worked
How
out
about
good.
July 11th?
I'm at
11th, there's a council meeting that night, so
That's fine.
fine with me.
July 11th?
The 11th.
July 11th.
Okay, I got to run that as a tentative because I don't know where my schedule.
Okay.
I got to wait for her to tell me my schedule. My schedule.
July 11th. What you will tentatively plan? Does that sound
Sounds fair.
okay?
Works
I just need a
for me.
motion and a-
Juan, you good?
We'll pick somebody if we have to.
'Cause on that 11th meeting, after we have our open house,
Yep.
I want to vote on that LaVie property.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we will have the discussion about how the framework plan. If we have any more discussion on it, whatever, then we can figure out what we want to do with that. If the framework plan moves forward, we say we want to move that forward with whatever. Then we can have that discussion.
You all agree with that? Let's get this off our
Seems
plate.
how you brought it up, has anything happened, has he called or anybody called?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they follow up and see where we're going, and I mean, everyone in the process has
Yeah.
called a couple times to say, okay, where are we going with this? Because the RFP got approved and then nothing happens.
Right.
Right. Well, the one lot got cleared, right? It's the
Yep.
Lonix lot.
Yep.
So let's make sure that that's on that 11th.
Sure. Yep. I need a motion and a second to change the date, and then
I'm sorry?
Motion.
I need a motion and a second to change the date
I'll
of
make
that
a
meeting.
motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to change it to that,
Motion
to the
and
11th.
Second.
We have a second.
Yeah, Juan did.
Okay,
Yep.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Wonderful.
We all good caught up? You okay? You need some water or something?
I'm good. I just have had this
Whiskey?
persistent cough, but
Okay.
that's not COVID.
All right, discussion about Historic Village Framework Plan, if any, prior to the open house on the 29th. I know I don't have too much information on it. I kind of understand where we're going, but what do you guys have to say about it?
I've talked to a couple people down in the village, and I think some of the property owners are, there's this underlying fear that, you know, the city's going to do whatever they want and they're not really looking for input. So I think that's a big thing about like how we approach it, you know.
Sure.
And I think part of the issue is, you know, like that were brought up to me, like, you know, if we guide Robinson Street for commercial, if this one, you know, if someone that wants to sell their house, then, you know, it has to be commercial and the value is maybe lower than if they could sell it for single family. I think part of,
So they're worried about zoning it out.
well, they're worried about the value of their property if the zoning changes. And I think what they don't understand is what the current zoning is. And I think really it's going to be important to help people understand that today, property owners that own property, that we know there are 3 or 4 big property owners, essentially can do whatever they want because it's mixed use with, you know, as long as they meet the other city requirements and the city doesn't oppose it. And that, you know, what's either being proposed in the plan or whatever is really to help guide so things get done more uniformly. And I think they don't, I mean, the average citizen doesn't understand that. They just think, oh, you're changing it, my property value's not going to be worth as much because,
That'd be worth more.
well, that's what I think.
Is
I
that-
think it'll actually be worth more, but they don't understand that.
Okay,
They
so
think
you
it's
want a
gonna
way
be
for us
worth-
to create a vehicle to tell them, look,
I think
it's going to probably be worth more if it goes commercial.
I think
So we
what
want that
I'm-
clearance.
Yeah, but what I think I'm saying is I think the way, and I assume you'll be doing most of the presenting, or somebody is
Yeah,
going to
likely.
be, is that we need to kind of discuss where we are. You know, like this was the plan in 2005, nothing happened, there was supposed to be a committee appointed, there wasn't. That's all we've done is taken that plan and kind of tried to update it based on what we think is possible. And, you know, this is what the current state is in terms of zoning, and this is what's proposed future, and this is how it affects you. You know, likely property values would go up. You know, those kinds of things.
So you
That's the feedback I'm getting. And I
you
think,
want that discussion then.
I think that's, I'm
Can we make that happen?
yes, I'm saying I think it's the way, I'm trying to discuss the way we should approach it to have the most successful meeting. And I think that there's, the more we can ask for input, you know, the more people feel engaged. I have a feeling there could be 2 people, and you know who they are, that might try to sort of take over the meeting and push it toward the original 2005 plan.
Do the Roberts rules apply at this meeting?
It is well, It's an EDA meeting open house, so it'll have to be posted as an open meeting because my guess is that most or a majority of the EDA members will be present. However, it is not an open meeting for discussion and operations, so there can't be any voting or anything done at the meeting. So Robert's rules wouldn't technically apply. However, feedback is appreciated, but
Well, we don't want a 4-hour feedback. We want
correct. We only have an hour and a half, and
We have a
everyone will be
3-minute
given ample time to be able to have a feedback discussion.
Yeah, but we've
So-
been down this road several times with the
Yep.
sample time thing, and we're not going to do that.
Yep, I will,
We're
I
gonna
will
have
be
an
presenting.
excess amount of
this.
time, we're going to say their piece, and I'm not going to have 15 other people behind them say the same thing. We get the response. We want to listen to their response, but we
Yeah.
don't want them to overtake the meeting.
No,
we're
and
not
that's,
gonna
I'm
allow.
just giving you guys this feedback based on a couple of people that have
Yeah, I know
approached
where you're
me,
going
and
with
I,
that.
we're just trying to prepare so you can make the meeting
This is why I'm asking that question
as
right
good
now.
as you
Yep.
can.
Well, I think it.
Whether
to
it'll
that
happen or
point,
not, I don't
It
know.
would be good to have, to the extent we can, some clarity around what we think happens to property value if we change the zoning. I don't know if that's something you can address, or if that's something that Kevin could talk about, or,
Yeah, I mean, the more density you can put on a piece of property, typically that means the value goes up.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to get more density out of it, so you can get more value long term.
Well, and I think the other thing is
But
like,
again, it's future guided use. This isn't something where we're telling them they can't do anything with their property until this.
And there's always a variance.
that's,
There's always, adjustments or variances you can be granted. But their property value will be dictated based on what the guided use will be, which if it's commercial or medium density, it will be higher than if it was single family.
Yep.
But they can
That's the-
still
that's the
sell
agenda
their
we push.
home.
I
and-
think that's the point. That's all
Correct.
you
Yep.
have to say.
Correct.
That cover what you had? I'm sorry, Jack.
yeah, I think that's a key point is, just letting them know how it will affect not only the value, but how there's more consistency in what's being proposed. Because, today, not that necessarily the city would approve it, but you could tear down a single-family home, back one of those blocks and put a gas station if you wanted to.
Yep.
So, I don't think people understand that, well, hey, today, my neighbor could sell and they could put a Quick Trip right next to me. And there's really, I guess the only thing that could stop it would be the city council saying no, I guess. But
If
from
it's
a-
zo- if it's
but
zoned
you
for-
run into issues because it's zoned that it could be done. So anyway,
Certainly if the quick trip idea comes up, that wouldn't happen. None of them lots are big enough for that.
I know that. I'm just
And
using
I
it as
think
an
the biggest
example.
thing to relay to people is currently, as of today, there is no buyer, there is no developer. This is an idea.
Right,
Good or bad, it's just an idea.
right.
But as you said a long time ago, change scares people.
It scares them.
Well, what's the time limit when someone comes here to speak? What's the time limit?
They
What are
usually
they-
get 3 minutes.
Three
Three,
minutes.
3 to 30 minutes.
You know, let them go, whatever.
It is, yeah, you have to, they're allowed 3 minutes to speak, however, they have to be kept within 3 minutes and kind of kept that 3-minute mark.
So couldn't you do the same thing there too? It's like, right? 3 minutes and then,
3 to 5 minutes. Again, we're not going to make this an all-night event. We understand, we want to hear
Depend on
the,
if there's 2 people there or if there's 30 people there.
Right.
It just depends on what happens.
Based on what I'm hearing, I got a feeling it'll be closer to 30 than 2, but I don't know.
30 minutes?
what time is the open house?
No,
at?
I said I think based on what I'm hearing, there'll be closer to 30 people there than 2, but
I sure hope so. Yeah, I've heard from a few residents in that area too, and the ones I've talked to, now they understand the process since they've called, are more excited about the meeting than they may have been before. I have heard the same feedback.
Excited positive or negative?
Positive.
Good.
Just because it's not a city's telling us what to do, they're actually listening to feedback kind of deal.
And we're asking input,
Yep, that's correct.
not telling.
Correct.
right.
All that-
Anyway, I just wanted to give you that feedback to help.
Oh yeah, no, I
Guide
appreciate
the
it.
whole
I've heard the
discussion.
same exact thing, so.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, meeting is 29th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Activity Center. There will be dinner provided, so.
There might be 100 people there.
Is there more discussion
My best.
for Zach on this?
I'm good.
Okay. Sean, you good?
Yep. I got all my notes, my time. I'll be ready.
Good to go. Okay. End discussion of that on number 5. Update on planters for Historic Village. Do we have all our goods in on that?
Yeah, EDA chair and members of the EDA, we finally have all of our stuff in as of Friday at noon. So we are moving forward with the plaques and the plantings. The person who had volunteered to help us plant items was on vacation last week as well. So we have the planters, we got the black dirt, we got the plaques on order that should be done this week. We are hoping to have them out by the end of June. That is our goal, because we have to still go buy the plants and then also.
You'll send out an email when they're getting dropped?
Yep, once I hear that they've been dropped, it's
While they're getting dropped, we'll take some photo ops and send them out to the pages and get our PR working.
do my best. Yep. I'm sure Marty will take photos, I'm sure, as we drop them.
Well, Marty's right there. You can ask him when he wants to do it.
Yep.
If we can get them out before this meeting, that'd be awesome.
I would love to get them out for the
Yeah.
meeting.
I think that's a really good idea.
Yep.
What's that?
If you could get the
Open
out
for the
before
open
the
house.
meeting
Yep.
on the 29th.
Yeah, like I said, we got them as of Friday at noon, so we were off yesterday for the
I mean,
holidays.
because you
so-
might get some feedback on some people like, hey, I paid my money and it's July and they're.
They all alerted me last week, so.
Is it really?
Yeah, because I called them all to let them know that this is what's going on and
Oh,
just to let them know of everything. But I haven't heard from them. I reached out to them. They didn't reach out to me. I reached out to them to be proactive. And let
Have
them
you put eyes on these?
know. I have not yet. Nope.
I haven't either. Just a matter of driving over to.
The only guy who's put eyes on them is outside that room.
Yep. He said they're here.
But they're here, okay.
They're here.
Are they all sold then? Zach?
They are all sold. Yep.
Really?
All 8.
Nice.
Yep. We had more than 8 inquiries, but we only, like I said, I waited for the confirmation of the dollars before I move forward with the process. But all 8 have paid, and we're good to go.
You almost had to pull teeth to get the 8, but
I did.
I didn't do one.
Nope.
I don't think there's any left,
There's not.
no.
which is totally fine. I'm glad that they went that fast.
Perfect.
That fast?
The council deal never materialized, right?
Nope. That was also one. Didn't need it. We had it all done before that.
Nice job.
Was the council
We had the councilman ready to go if we needed
If
to.
somebody wanted to.
Yep.
right, right.
Yep. If we didn't have a 8th person, we're good to go.
Yeah, the pots, they were all spoken for, within a couple weeks?
Yeah. I mean, they were paid for
Just
within
to
a
get-
few weeks, but
Get
yeah.
them paid for, yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Overall, I've heard of more people that want them next year, so they're.
And they are businesses? Or they're just individuals?
Individual blood,
Most of them are individuals, I think.
yeah.
Really?
I think there's only 1 or 2 that are businesses.
Is there a list?
Is
there a list of all of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see who's on that.
Does it matter? That's good. We got people. That's great.
No, I just want to see who's with the general flavor of all the who's doing what on there.
I think that's a great surprise for when they get. So you'll have to actually go down that.
You should walk the street and look at
You
the
get to walk in
plaques.
the street and look at them.
Yes. Okay.
But yep, that's all. So I just want to give an update, let them know that this is still going forward, and we are moving forward as quick as possible. Got to get the things out. I wanted them out this week, but they're not going to happen.
Yeah, it can happen by the 29th. I think.
Yep. The problem is the plaques. It just took forever for us to find a vendor because the vendor that we had lost their vendor to be able to do it. So then I had to find a new vendor to do the plaques. So it took a little bit.
Okay, number 7. We have a Ziegler employee here. I want to advise caution about moving forward on some of this. And if there's anything to vote on or abstain, he would probably have to abstain on that.
Yep.
So let us talk about Ziegler Target Site Plan for comments. What are we talking about?
Yep. So this. So as part of the process, I believe I mentioned last year, let's start sending out any updates that we had with commercial businesses, anything related to things that go to the Planning Commission for comment. I think it's appropriate for the EDA because it's an economic development item for commercial businesses that we have a comment from the EDA to be able to give to the council of either, like it, don't like it, here's a comment from us, from EDA related. I'm not looking for code updates. I'm not looking for, comments on, oh yeah, we should have more trees. It's more or less, does the EDA feel this is a good business, good adjustment for a piece of property? This truck site plan is a rezoning, so it's going to change the zoning from one thing to the next. So is that a good rezoning? Is it not? That is what the EDA is here for, to be able to say, is that a good economic development item or not? And so that's what the comments are for.
What's our A and B? What do they want to do? Because I don't know what they're going for.
Oh, so It was in the packet. Over here, in the packet, I provided the Ziegler site trucking site plan, and I'll pull that up right now on the screen so you can see it. Yeah, we'd ask member Peralta to. He'll have to abstain from the comments because he's a
That's fine.
active member, but that is fine.
I think I said that.
Yep.
Yeah, so it is a site plan review and rezoning. So basically, they're looking to rezone a piece of property. It is down by the interchange. They acquired it. And you have to answer when I acquired it. Do you remember when you acquired it? Was that last year or 2 years ago?
That was last year.
Last year, okay. Acquired a piece of property. They're looking to change it from commercial industrial B4 district, or to the commercial B4 district from the business park district. And I will see if I can find the picture here. In general, there's been some adjustments, comments made from this site plan. I don't know if there's another, like a. Nope, there's just that
Is
one.
Gary
Okay.
Treadle on that one?
He has some involvement, yes.
So basically, in essence, what this is that Ziegler Trucking is looking to start, or Ziegler Trucking is going to be a subsidiary of Ziegler Cat, and they're looking to start selling electric vehicles out of this building, not as a dealership, but as a test site to test the vehicles out, I believe, and then you could buy them from them. And then they will order them in, and once they are in from order, then they will tell the customer, and the customer will come get them. So this will be any electric vehicle. I think it's like, and you may have to want to give some more information because I don't know the exact ones, but I think it's like Rivian and Tesla stuff, and
It's,
or is it?
It's brand specific. Nikola Semi.
Okay, Nikola Semi. Okay, so this is looking to be, so it's semi trucks, not consumer trucks.
Semi trucks.
Semi trucks. Okay.
Class 7?
Yeah, cab overs, class 7, class 8.
Okay.
Yep.
So 7 and up, so basically it's a dealership.
Essentially, yes.
Yes, except for they will not have product on site. They'll have probably a model, I'm assuming, to look at and say, do you like this or not? But
They'll have one in the display.
yeah, correct.
Is that the same site that's on the highway right now, isn't it? Or no? Or am I
It
thinking
is
something?
there already. It was repurposed, the building.
Yeah, well, that was
pretty
that.
sure.
That was that reusable gear type place, Istradix.
Yeah, it was. The building was there before.
Yep.
And
So
so Ziegler Cat owned the property next door, and then this company, I believe, either they sold it and Ziegler Cat bought it, and then wants to start Ziegler Trucking, which is a subsidiary of Ziegler Cat.
So my Ziegler Cat is the facility
Yes.
right on the highway, right?
Nope, that's RDO.
Oh, that's RDO. Okay.
Yep. Ziegler Cat. This is off of Territorial across from Odessa, the auto auction.
Oh, okay.
This is on Territorial Road there, and so
That's
Ziegler
right.
Cat is right next across the street, and
I
then
do
Ziegler
know.
Trucking is
Okay.
looking to go next door.
It's right next to Comfort Matters.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Right next
adjoining
Matters on-
properties? Are they next to each other?
Yep.
Well, is there any other reason why we shouldn't even be concerned with this?
This is why I brought it to the EDA. I just want comments on generally if the EDA thinks it's a good business. Is this a good rezoning? Is this the right area for this? This is the general thing of, okay, is this a good business? Comments. Again, I'm not looking for code updates and stuff, so I try to remove all the code. This packet came from the planning packet. I just removed some of the items related to the planning commission because they're not specific to the EDA.
What's the difference between BP and B4?
BP does not allow industrial, whereas take it back. BP doesn't do. You can't do auto sales. That's what it is. You can't do auto sales in the BP district. B4 district, you can do auto sales. So that's the difference. So that's why they're looking for a rezoning, because they're looking to do auto sales.
And that makes sense. But literally, it's the same stuff, just same equipment, just electric and...
Yeah. So whatever was there before, I think was probably more roughly similar to what Ziegler Cat does now. Kind of just heavy equipment stuff that was there previously. That was the BP district.
Well, if they're in heavy equipment, Class 7 and 8 tractors are lighter than that. So I don't know if I really see an issue with it.
Yep, like I said, this is just for comments from the EDA. If there's any major
Isn't
comments.
the auto place, I mean, the auction place, it's just right across the
Yep.
street. I mean, that must be zone B4, huh?
Well, they
Odessa
don't
is-
retail out. They're only wholesales.
Yeah,
So
they're
as
into
long as it's
so-
wholesale, they can have all the cars there. and
correct. I don't
like-
think they're B4. I think they're B3 or something.
That's it.
They're a different zone. There's only 2 properties in town that are B4. the RMF site, which is
So the
where
real
cell
difference
tower's
is that
at.
you're selling the vehicle versus
Correct.
not retail.
Correct, exactly. It is not retail essentially because you can't go there, get the product, and leave with the product. That's considered retail. This one would be you go there, look at the product or on display,
Order it.
whatever, order
Order
it,
it.
and then come back. Retail, you'd have to be able to take it same day.
Okay, well, like I said, I don't have any issues with it. Anybody else?
Yeah.
No.
My only comment, and I guess we'll see this again, but would be that it, operate as, as advertised, so to speak, that the idea of having vehicles on display is not part of what they're presenting, and I think we should make sure that that remains true. I don't have any concerns about them expanding their business. I mean, I think that's great. I just think that, like with RDO, for example, and this was before my time, but there was lots of discussion about how many vehicles they could have out on display and so on, and and there were some limitations put around that. But if you drive by there, there's dozens parked out there, and they're there for repair or they're there for some other purpose, and so it looks like a full-scale dealership, and I wouldn't want this to become that.
Sure. Comment is noted. Thank you.
Any other comments on that? I don't know how you would dictate between a show model and a repair. That'd be tough.
Well, I don't think we can. That's
Yeah.
that's what's happened with RDO. It sort of goes away from the intent that the limitations that the council put on it. Right or wrong, it isn't what it was advertised to be, and I would want this to try to comply with whatever is ultimately approved.
Are you advising they advance or widen their use so they can cover that?
That's not up to me. I don't run that business, so they need to decide what's going to work for them, and that's what they should come to us with.
Good standing business in our community, adds to our database, they pay in their taxes. I mean, it's just more tax dollars in the end for us as a city, and it is in the right area-ish.
For sure. Yep.
So I think we should limit how much we put on them to do so. I mean, yeah, we're not going to put in a big I-80 truck stop, but I get that. Anybody else? I'm done. You done? Staff updates, Zach. What's going on in the world?
Well, we do have a couple of applications, so we'll start industrial, commercial stuff. Trying to think now through my head of industrial, commercial applications besides the Ziegler trucking one, which we just talked about, the rezoning there. We had quite a few comments and various discussions on properties in and around 94. The moratorium is still in place for anything basically north of 81. And I will use the Dayton Parkway that's being sent currently and would be east of there. So there is a moratorium still in place till the middle of September. And so because of that, we haven't had any applications or any discussions with anybody in that area. However, there's been quite a few discussions about different items in the 94 area, specifically Territorial Road and the other side of 94. I'm trying to think, the industrial ones and commercial ones have got to only be, MTL will start grading here likely in the next 2 weeks probably, or a week. So they have quite a bit of grading to do on the MTL property that has been fully approved. But you will start seeing some action on that property, which is at the end of Troy Lane, if you have not ventured down that way. At the end of the road that the go-kart place is on 81 is what everyone typically sees it as. We've had some discussions with the DDL Holdings property. I'm going to pull it up on a map so it's easier to understand.
Is this the triangle?
It is not.
Okay.
It is not. Let me see here. It's always easier to pull it up on the map so you can see where I'm talking about. Oh boy. So we've had some preliminary discussions, no applications or anything else at this point, from some preliminary discussions with this property here, which is the pond. Everyone knows is the pond. Next, this is the Cubes building. This property here is the Cubes building, the giant 1 million square foot building. Had some preliminary discussions with this owner here, and they are starting what they're calling an EAW, which is an environmental awareness worksheet to complete with the pond and stuff on that property. So we may see something from them in the next several months. So just keeping ear to the grindstone on that one. And then that is all we have for industrial commercial at this time. Moving on to residential applications, we have one application officially in, and it is at this property here. It's called the Roberg property. That got submitted at the beginning of June 1st. And we'll be at the Planning Commission meeting in July, so you will see that application in July at the EDA meeting in July for comments. It's a concept plan, but it is a what they are calling it is the Parkway neighborhood. Previously, we saw a concept plan from Dominium Apartments on this property asking for TIF, and it was supposed to be, I think, 450 units of apartment buildings on this property. It was not well received by the council, and they said they do not want a TIF ask. This individual has come back with no TIF request, but it is a apartment building and townhome development. So it have both quadplexes, townhomes, and apartment building on this property, totaling 374 units of development. So
How does that satisfy your high density for the?
it does meet this area. So this area is mixed use for zoning, so it needs to be 12 units per acre for zoning or for density wise, and it does meet that.
So if they approve this, then that opens it up for someplace else in the city for less density. If we meet our quotas.
I would. It doesn't hurt anything. It definitely helps. Again, until we're fully developed out, the Met Council wants to see 3 units an acre when we're fully developed out. So that's kind of how we go with the game there. But it does help. The answer is yes. For the short answer.
Where's the Maple Grove line there?
Right at the bottom. So this is Maple Grove here.
Yeah, okay.
You can see the dash line. This is on Maple Grove.
I also understand that the council had a discussion about the control of the triangle. Where is the triangle in relation to that?
Other side of that.
Oh, this one here?
The forfeited property. Okay, it's
Here.
over there. Have they made a decision on that yet?
We are waiting to figure out the purchase price from Hennepin County. And then once we have that, then we will move forward with which area they want to have happen. Whether they want council to control it or EDA to control it is the question in turn. But it sounds like general direction sounds like we want to acquire the property out of tax forfeiture and not use it for public transportation that I'm aware of at this point.
Okay.
The triangle in my mind is always this side of 94, so
Ah.
that's why I get confused when you ask about the triangle.
Different
So-
triangle.
Yep, so
I'm
this
more of
one
an
here.
isosceles triangle.
Sure. For whatever you want. So the Roberg property here, hopefully we will, like I said, you guys will see a concept plan at the July meeting for this property. We
There
also
was a
have
proposal on the north side of the, right there, right?
this one here.
At one time.
Yeah, so we had one concept plan that we showed the EDA 6 months ago, I bet it was.
Something like that, yeah.
This is called the Shaney parcel that they actually own this property and the other side of the property as well. We received an application at the beginning of June as well for this property as well. They're looking to preliminary plat, however, we have comments back to them, and once we have comments back from them regarding our comments that we had as staff, then we will share it with council, and we'll share it again. Obviously, they'll have to go through the whole process of planning commission, council, and we'll go through the EDA as well. At this point, they are not proposing any development on that property, only infrastructure, which is where we're struggling with staff level. So they are trying to preliminary plat only outlots. Definition of an outlot is it cannot be built on, period. That is the definition of an outlot. So
Kind of tough to put pipe in the ground. You don't know what's on top of it.
that is what staff is struggling with, of telling sizes and infrastructure
Unless they
needs.
stub everything around the outside of it, and then
Yep. That's some of the comments back that we have already. Yeah, but you're
Sorry?
correct. Yeah, that is the comments we have back. In essence, I mean they're a lot longer than that, but yes, I mean essentially staff is struggling giving an answer to something that we don't know the question.
A blind yes.
So, yep.
So
that-
they're just more or less saying, we're gonna prepare this for something, but we're not gonna tell you.
Yep.
The kinda-
Yep. Just a bunch of outlines. So they are not at this point on the preliminary plat before you see it, because we're waiting to see what they come back with after staff comments. But at this point, they are not proposing any development on this property, so that's why I'm not sure if it's industrial, commercial, or if it's residential, because I don't know what they're planning. I think it's like 8 or 9 outlots. That's it.
Any opportunities in this area for, I heard there was a discussion about a burn testing site for the fire department.
There was. Yep.
Is there any real estate in this area that would help that? That would be, or is that a poor use of high tax dollar incomes?
I mean, it's always better to have a burn facility in an industrial-ish area, only because with residential, if you're having a burn facility in a residential area, typically it will bother the residents more than it will an industrial or commercial area. So this area is more prone or have more ability to do it in this area for a burn facility. It's what we're looking for as a training facility for both police and
I'm aware
fire.
because I presented that
Yep.
over 6 months ago to say, look, we should do this to fund our next truck or our whatevers.
Yep. Yep. So this industrial area is has more appetite for it than a residential area would. Only because there's constant smoke and constant things going on and commotion. It's going to disrupt the residential
Big trucks,
area.
heavy access,
Yep.
water in the ground, in the pipe.
Yep. You got to have water in the ground, so basically that rules everything north of 117th out until you get to North Diamond Lake Road.
Unless they're going to pump.
Yeah. We've only got 4,000 gallons at a time, so it doesn't take long to go through 4,000 gallons of water.
Sounds like a business opportunity.
Sure, if you want to extend pipe for a couple 100,000 or more. Yeah. So, other than that, other industrial we don't have any other new applications. Those are the only 2 applications we have that are new. We have obviously progress is happening down in that industrial area. Capital Partners is still moving forward. The roadways are getting done this year, so we'll actually have some access around down there and not have just dirt roads and or closed roads completely. So our area, which is West French Lake Road, did get completed from, I'm going to scroll in here, roughly about in this area, which is the Dayton Parkway, all the way north till we're calling 121st Avenue, roughly in here, did get completed or got first lift of pavement on. So you can drive down that road now. There's a small little area that had some, they're called some sagging. I think it dropped like 6 inches, so we had to have the contractor redo it. And they laid the concrete last week, so hopefully we can repave that area.
Are they paving Zanzibar?
They are paving. We are paving Zanzibar. Yes.
'Cause there was a time there where Zanzibar was blocked. There's no signs saying it was closed, and then 81 was closed. And it was, I mean, I had all kind of comments about why didn't there any signs up?
I can address the comments on Zanzibar. Those Zanzibar in the contract that we had with Zanzibar, and the reason why there was no signs posted is because we required the contractor to keep the road open 100% of the time. We had the road closed to through traffic so that we would try to inhibit a lot of the traffic along that roadway, but it was supposed to be and required to be open at all times. However, they just started digging the whole road up, and then we had to go yell at them. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
that's
they
why-
had their bulldozers.
Yep.
They had their bulldozers blocking the entire
So
road.
I'm not saying that it was.
What
Again,
the hell?
it might take a little while for you to get through, but they have to make it physically passable as part of the contract. You have to make it passable at all times, and they did not hold up that part of the contract, so we had to go correct that. But we did add signs just in case, obviously to try to inhibit people from going down 125th or East French Road. So we did add signs on both ends of those to say that Zanzibar is closed. I don't know if you've driven by.
I probably got there early because I came one day
Yep.
and the bulldozers were there. So then I came around all the way around, cutting over to 81 around West French Lake Road and all that.
So they were not supposed to be.
And then when I got to 81, freaking 81 was closed.
81's closed. You can go the details around through Dayton Parkway and then up Brockton. That is closed because inland, which is not the.
It's open now, but
Yep. So inland is the building that is next to the cubes. That's the other 300 and some thousand square foot building that's right here, right behind Trail Lane. As part of the project, they did a right in, right out from the county that was allowed off of 81. However, because it's a right in, right out, the county requires a median to be put in to inhibit left-hand turns out of a right in, right out. So they had to add a median, which would mean that they had to cut the pavement down the center, add the pavement on the outside, and then put a median down the center. So that's why it was closed completely there.
Where is the parkway actually going to cut through? Is
Parkway is here,
Right
and
there.
then it is being extended straight, would be northeast, this way. So as you can follow my mouse if you can, this way. And then it basically follows kind of this old dirt road, basically, around to the right over here. There'll be a cul-de-sac or a roundabout right here on the corner of this property. I'm going to highlight this here for a second just to kind of see. You can see the arcing. This is the roadway here. There'll actually be a roundabout right in here for turnaround access. This also will be able to fulfill the 113th Avenue access at the time that this intersection gets so busy that 113th can no longer be allowed here based on county guidelines. So this is why we put a roundabout up here, was because then we'd be able to access 113th. Either it's through the bottom side of this DDL property here, or through the middle of this property here, which we've talked. This landowner's
It's the towing
Tom
company, isn't it?
Spanier. Huh?
Isn't that the towing company?
Might be. Tom Spanier's the owner of the
'Cause
building.
Well,
And he's
these
talked
shops-
about putting in a building or a new building, so he is talking about moving some of these buildings and making a larger building. So we've asked him to see if he can fulfill some land access needs that we have on 113th. We can create another connection here, then we can sever the connection at 113th here, only because long term this will be severed at some point no matter what, based on stacking at the intersection.
That ain't the towing
So
company.
for a while, it's a road to nowhere, basically.
It is a road, and it will end at 117th. That is where the parkway will end, right? Roughly, I can't even highlight it. Right here.
Right there.
Right here, right at the end of this. Basically lines up directly with Mr. Groves' old
So then you
driveway.
either can go left and go out by Graco, or...
Yep, or right towards Brayburn Trails. That is correct.
Okay.
Did you know that?
And how long will it be before that's, I mean, were we talking 5 years or something?
Your answer is as good as my answer. I have no clue. Until we can get it extended to the next roadway, that's the answer.
Okay.
You could have a million theories, and I bet every one of those will be wrong at some capacity.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious.
Yep.
It just seemed like a road to nowhere and
So
for a while anyway.
I want to wrap up back to where I was with road construction. So in this area, 118th, or Troy Lane Extension as we were calling it before, 118th, which runs east-west here, that got finished as well. That goes along the bottom side of MTL's property, north of Inland. That got finished, or first pavement got laid 2 weeks ago. So that is now open as well, so you can now travel that roadway, which is another connection between West French Lake Road and 81. And 121st is being worked on right now. They are anticipating an August completion date for first pavement on 121st, which will be a connection between Brockton and West French Lake Road. And then Graco's last bit, which will be from about here, I can't even do, here till Rogers Drive, basically, and the revamping of West French Lake Road here. That is supposed to be done in September.
And that other road is gone.
This is 124th, and that is gone.
Yeah.
So they are still using it as temporary
It's
construction
Darwin's
access for Graco. However, once 121st is done, so they are now accessing Capital Partners off of 121st Avenue, which is basically gravel at this point. Capital Partners is right in here. And once, basically Graco's done with their construction access, this will be closed down completely, and then only the roadway will run north. And then there'll be no access here. There will still be a stub because there is a lift station from Rogers right there. So it'll basically be stubbed here, and then there'll be a gate there, and no access whatsoever. So that is the roadway improvements. These were all supposed to be done last year in November. That was the deadline, or the plan for that, was to have all this road construction done last year. And half of them didn't even get started until this year. So it's been a rough couple of years for construction. Those are the applications we have at the moment. Any questions about those? As we have those, again, we will bring them to the EDA for comments. Anything related to commercial, industrial for economic development purposes.
Residential and current applications?
I went through those as well. I
Okay.
went through that with, and then we have, like I said, is the Parkway neighborhood, which is, we are happy to show that one as well, just because it does have some economic impacts, because it does provide likely housing for workers in the area that are going to be working at the new Cubes building, Inland building, Capital Partners building, future Alro Steel possibly, Gray Coast. Likely you'll want to work or live closer to work. So.
Speaking of impact, how is the Dayton River Road going with the...
Did we, I believe, an update was given by Marty last council meeting, and it's end of June, July 4th?
End of June, start first week of July.
Yeah, first week of July it's supposed to be done.
Nice. So low ahead of plan.
Yep,
Yeah.
be a week-ish ahead of planned. That is the plan. So, but we've had minimal communication with the county. We consistently have issues with the county communication, not just on that one project.
You keep us up to speed on the purchase of the triangle? What they're...
Oh, yep. Once we get like I said, we were waiting on a price back from Hennepin County. I got some direction at the post session, at the council meeting to kind of give a direction of if this is this, then we can kind of give a direction. But it sounds like the general direction of the council is we need to purchase it. It's just going to be who controls it basically when we purchase it, and what we want to do with it once we purchase it to figure out the price. So we'll have more direction once they know more.
Last item on the agenda is Heritage Days fireworks discussion.
Yep. So this was asked by you, Chair Hutner, but fireworks for Heritage Day, can that be supplied by the EDA? They are allowed to be supplied by the EDA based on state statute, so you most certainly can provide those. I don't think it's maybe the best efforts of an economic development from my personal opinion, only because that's probably more of a city function to be able to help with those things. Economic development, to me, seems more like helping a business if they need some sort of upkeep done or something like that to help develop the economy. But if the EDA feels that they want to purchase fireworks, they are allowed to by state statute, because it is in the festival ordinance by state statute that we have a festival in town, and you are able to contribute to that. So if you'd like to, you most certainly can, but again, my opinion is my opinion and not that of the board and the chair. So,
And I certainly understand your opinion. What I see it as is a opportunity for this group to spread its wings and assist in these functions.
Who's in charge of the Heritage Day thing now? It used to be the one nonprofit. Then I think the Lions took it over.
It's Dayton
it
Community
is Dayton
Foundation.
Community Foundation.
It's still the Dayton Community Foundation.
Still an NPO?
As far as I'm aware, yep.
Okay.
I didn't hear what he said.
Nonprofit. I'm pretty sure they're still a nonprofit.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, guys? I mean, I get what he's saying, and I do understand that EDA has proved itself in the past where we've actually created income for the city, and without taxing. And maybe it's time, one of these times, where we actually take and spend some money of that back to the community, back to these people.
How about if I go? I'll go first.
You what?
I'll go first. And then maybe that helps. I don't know. My idea, I love the idea of the fireworks. 2 years ago when we did them, I think it was a great big hit. I think it went off really well. Currently, the idea for this event, I understand we have credits with the movie people.
Yep.
And we have credits with the bounce house people.
Yep.
So those two entities, which did happen 2 years ago, bounce house, movie in the park, fireworks, band flopped terribly, so we wouldn't do that part of it. And this is tentatively the 15th at Stevens Park.
Yes.
And do we know if we have that date available?
That date's available.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think all of that is moving forward. Lisa is handling a lot of it. The only current hiccup, if we move forward with it, is funding the fireworks. I personally am more of either the city do it, because there is a sizable chunk of money that, there's probably money available that didn't get used because we haven't really had any events.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean,
So whether or not, and I'm a little mixed on this deal. In my opinion, tax dollars, and it's kind of mixed because anything that happens through the community activities is still a community activity, and it's tax dollars that are paying for it. So this is a community activity also. However, I think it's an excellent opportunity for the Zieglers of the world to sponsor an event like this. So I think ideally it'd be awesome to put something together and go and see if we can't campaign for some contributions and get sponsors for this. First off, now, it is available. The event can be done. I talked to the fireworks guy yesterday. We can get on the schedule, $5,000. It's like 18 minutes worth of fireworks.
Well, we're up against the clock on this, so if we don't grab these guys, we're going to be
Pretty
out of
soon,
it.
yep.
So we can go out and petition all the Zieglers in the world and the Hutners and all the big companies that want to put into it. But with this clock, you could do a payback. You could do whatever you wanted to at the end of the season and do a payback to our fund.
And the city can do that too. It could happen on that end too.
And I know it's probably late for this, but so maybe there's two things, like this immediate action on the firework thing, and then there's how do the other cities, because I mean, not that you're going to have Rockin' Rogers days, but at some point in time you aspire to have something along those lines, I assume. I mean, you got Albertville days, you got Rockin' Rogers days, they aren't doing this through some community.
They got sponsors. All of them got sponsors.
I realize that, but somebody's organizing it in a big way. Because, I mean, I was just up at the Rockin' Rogers thing, and I mean, just in the parade alone, all the businesses are, I mean, it's mainly the businesses going down the road with their equipment or whatever it is, so they're all sponsoring. How do we get from where we're at to something more organized like that? Someone's got to be in charge, and we've talked about this for like probably 5 years at least since I've been on the EDA, and it's like city, no, we don't have enough staff. Then it's kind of this community
Volunteers.
foundation that we all know there was troubles with, and then it went to the Lions because that was kind of a taboo thing, and now it's, I guess, back to them again. I don't know. I thought the Lions had it for a year.
The biggest fall area is it never gets planned. I mean, these kind of your successful cities,
Right.
They're already planning for next year's.
Yeah, they're probably planning for 2 years out. Yeah.
And this thing just seems to drag on, and all of a sudden, 2 weeks before the event, it all gets thrown together.
That's my point. Is nobody's in charge. There's
Well, we used to have an
like
event
nobody's in
coordinator.
charge of this thing, and so that's why this happens every frickin' year, because nobody's in charge. And
I will let you know that I did reach out to both communities that are around us, both Champlin, Maple Grove, and Rogers, and all of their contributions, they simply give dollars, or give the dollars, or have council say they want to contribute time and $5,000.
Yep.
And the city will just say, here you go. And it's a Lions member or a community member or a foundation that runs the entire event. So that it is not run by the city at all. It is run by...
And that's good to know. So
Yep.
then that's what we need to do is say, who's going to run it? Is it the Lions?
Heritage Day in the community of Dayton and all of the other communities around us are not run by the city, but they are contributed to by the city. Because it is important, like I mentioned, through the state statute, there is a festival, which you're technically not allowed to give to a celebration, essentially what they call it in the state statute language. However, if it's a festival, it's for community involvement, and that's why they view it as you can have one festival a year that you give your money to, and that's why every community only has one foundation, one event a year. Father Hennepin Days in Champlin, Maple Grove Days in Maple Grove, Rockin' Rogers Days in Rogers. They are allowed to give to one community involvement or community engagement item per year. And so that's what they do. So
Has the city done that yet?
we are going to have that at the next council meeting.
We're talking, yeah.
Discussion about exactly that, of how much we want to give, if we want to give anything, and then again, it's not just dollars, it's also staff time too. Of, okay, how much staff time do we want to give and whatever else we want with help with.
Well, you know, maybe this year you're so close to it, it's a Band-Aid again, but I think there needs to be some serious thought about, like, how does the city of Dayton want to organize this going forward? You know, who is the group? Is it Dayton Lions, or, you know, and who's going to organize?
We get all that, but we have a discussion right now to not lose this fireworks.
Well, no, I said that's the Band-Aid.
Yes.
So
do we want to help this out? That's my question. Scott's been volunteering his time to make it happen, and you need $5K?
The fireworks are 5K.
Is there any reason why we shouldn't do this, other than Zach's opposement to?
Personally, I think it comes better from the city than EDA money. That's my personal opinion.
I still can disagree with
And
that.
the sponsor idea.
Does
in
the city
part
have
because
funds
it's more
available
than-
to donate or
Yep.
for this? Okay.
Yep.
I
I mean, it's not like it's explicit dollars. It's a Heritage Day fireworks, you know, here it's a
Yeah.
dollar.
What did you say?
Oh, I asked him, does the city have $5,000 available for the fireworks? He said
our
yes.
budget.
Huh?
We do in our budget.
No, I'm saying the
city
city,
does
not
too.
our budget. I'm asking if the city has the money available.
Yeah, so there's activity center dollars that we have, and part of those activity center dollars are supplies we'll be able to provide whatever is needed for Heritage Day. It's anticipated that we will contribute at least staff time to those.
The way Zach designed, or explained it, is ideally the best way. We've talked amongst the kind of us, myself and Dennis and Lisa. The way Albertville does it, and like a lot of cities do it, is they say, here's $5,000. You do with it what you want, and that ideally is the best way.
Right. And usually that's to, like, the Lions or whoever.
Correct.
Whatever entity is putting the event on.
I'm not advocating we tell them where to spend it. I mean, but we need fireworks. And what were you saying before you got cut off?
I just feel like it ends, if the EDA supports it also, then it ends up being a little more of a mixed bag. So I feel like it belongs more to the city. And because there's other pieces of this, and I guess we'll have that discussion on what that looks like, but if we're offering Marty's time or Public Works time to,
Police department
as
time.
part of this, police coverage is always a piece, you know, that has a cost to it because you're paying guys overtime to patrol the event or keep it safe and control traffic and so on. So there's multiple components there. Most of those are within the realm of city operations, and I think, to me, it's just cleaner to leave it all there rather than, you know, carve out one piece of it for EDA and the rest of it is over here.
But what if you guys don't make a decision on it? Then what?
Well, I think we'll make a decision on it.
So would it be helpful for some kind of, like, resolution from the EDA to support it to the council?
How about,
mean,
how
is
would
that
we
a-
approve it, and if they don't need it, they don't take it?
If you guys authorize the ability to move forward with it, then we would go forward with it. It doesn't go through council because you have taxing authority, so you have the ability to spend money without the council approval.
How do you feel about that, Dave?
Well, again, I think it's going to end up in two places, and that, I think, has created some of the confusion we've had in the past. Not EDA involvement, obviously, but, you know, who's doing what seems to have been, and I'm not involved in this, so I'm just looking from the outside. But, you know, is the city doing the planning? Is the city, what level of engagement is the city at? I think, you know, Scott said that, you know, most cities just go to this, most organizations go to the city and say,
We want
we're
some money. I
requesting
gotcha.
$10,000 to put on this event, and the city says yay or nay.
How about in lieu of the fact that we lost our planner this year, and the Lions are kind of running with this, right?
It's not going to be the Lions on the...
Or the Heritage Foundation.
It'll be the community foundation that will actually...
And we take the foundation and we say, okay, this year, we'll help you out. We'll get you going to keep the event going and live. And then next year, they need to plan a little further out. And then the main council can take over with their budget. You all right with that?
Is it feasible? I mean, we're going to talk about this at the next council meeting.
Yeah, but I want stuff in place so that in case you don't get it finished, that we'll still have this. If you want to take it over from there, great. Drop our vote and run with yours. But this way, it'll be on the page, and if something don't happen on your side, you get a 3-3 or a 3-2, or someone's not voting, to make it happen, you'll have a backup plan. We'll be your backup.
I don't care how it happens.
Say it again?
I say, I personally, I do. As long, in my opinion, it was a successful event a couple of years ago, and if we expand on it, that's the only way we're going to get this thing off the ground and keep it going and turn into an Albertville Days.
You bet.
I mean, you just got to keep it going, and if it works,
So you're for or opposed to it?
I'd still like to, personally, I don't think $5,000 to go out and get, in my opinion, is not going to be a challenge.
I missed it. You're for it or opposed to it?
I'm for the event. I'm not for EDA spending. To me, it's not an economic development type.
Community involvement. We made more than that in the last sale.
Okay, you guys decide. I don't care either way.
Well, you're the guys on the street pushing the
I'm kind
sale.
of the guy on the street pushing, and I think I'll just sit on the sideline.
I agree with Scott. I don't think it's, as far as the EDA, I personally don't believe that we should be the ones paying for the fireworks. He did make a valid point. I think we should fight sponsorships, like Ziegler's other companies, if the city doesn't want to pay for it. I mean, I think that's a brilliant idea. I mean, this year I know it's around the corner, so if we had to pay for it, so be it. But come next year, I think we need to plan.
So you're
better.
for the temporary this year to move funds into it, and then next year plan way ahead.
I will be open to it this one time. Yes. Even though.
I mean, I think we could raise, like you were saying, I mean, it wouldn't take but a couple phone calls to raise the money. But the city already has the money. So it's not like there needs to be a lot of effort, right?
Does the city not want to do it, or is this just because you want volunteers?
No, the discussion hasn't happened yet with the council. That's
Okay.
the issue. So we had the Heritage Day discussion about how much involvement and stuff we wanted, which was, I don't know, 2 months ago or something with the council. And there kind of was just no resolution or result out of that. And so this came up from Chair
Okay.
Hutner from the request of the fireworks. So this came from Chair Hutner, a request of do we want to do this or not. So that's what's on the agenda.
The fireworks is tentatively set.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I can call him in 2 weeks and say, hey, Chad, I got to back out. And he won't have any issue with it because there's like 6 or 7 displays that particular night. So, I mean, we're locked in right now.
We are locked in.
Yep.
Dave.
Well, I think you can bring it to a vote. I think I would like to see what the council's going to do with it, because I think we need to have a more, more permanent kind of
Consolidated
direction
type
out of the city, and I'll call it the city. I know it's the council's vote to support this thing going forward, and what does that look like? And that's where I think we need to get to out of our discussion at the council meeting, is what's our real view on this? I mean, there's been some real good points made around, we always seem to be in a hurry to get this done. We should be planning next year's, not this year's at this point, and so on. And I think that we'll never get there unless the city takes a stand on it and said, ongoing, we want to support this event, and we'll support it to this level, including police and public works, staff time, as well as, other folks that are behind the scenes, plus a dollar amount that the organization can ask for. I'd like to see that come from the city, and if it's on our next agenda, I think we're a week away from that meeting. I'd rather see the outcome of that before we took action. But I'm just one voice here.
So we would need a motion to either fund the fireworks or not, then? Is that what I'm hearing, Zach?
No, that is correct, Chair. So we would need today we would either need a vote to say, yep, we want to fund it, that's it. You could motion to table it. We do meet on the July 11th meeting, so that is in 3 weeks. So you could table it till the
That
July
would
11th
certainly be
meeting.
after the main council.
That would be after the main council discussion, or you could say, or I need a motion to deny it, to say that we do not want to do that, and then a vote. So,
I'm going to make a motion to table this until the July 11th.
I'd second that.
All right, we've got a motion to table it. We've got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
And I believe that wraps us up. That was quite a discussion on that. Anybody, anything else? Last order of business? Good to go?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. We have a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Still gonna remember that.